Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We had Brent from Shinedown on last week, debuting their new song, 365. And all of that is on our YouTube channel, on our socials, at Q101.com, the interview, and all the music. Unbelievable. What a great guy. What an awesome dude. He's from the South, you know. And something that happened in the South at the end of last year, you know, these news cycles, man. They get this news out there, we get all riled up about it, and then it just kind of goes away. But we follow these stories, like the 43 monkeys that escaped from the research facility in South Carolina, Alpha Genesis. So ominous, the name of this place. And 43 monkeys escaped back in November. They slowly captured a few here and there, and now a statement over the weekend. All 43 monkeys that escaped from the research facility in South Carolina in November have been captured safely. Quote, everyone is healthy and doing well,
I bet.
says Greg Westergaard, CEO of the research company Alpha Genesis. I don't know what else he's going to say.
No, I'm sure they're really happy. It's not like they tried to get out and start a different life.
Can you imagine now, like those last couple monkeys that were left were outside from November till now and discovered a world they had no idea existed.
Freedom.
And do you think when they brought him back in, they were like, whew, glad we're back, guys. Thanks for finding me. That's wonderful what you guys
they're
did.
talking to the other monkeys, like, what's it like out there, man? Like, you have no idea.
This is like the... Kenzie, I'm sure you watched this. What was the show called? Like Escaping Amish or something?
Oh, yes.
Because when an Amish person turns 18, they let them try out the real world for a minute.
Right.
And believe it or not, breaking Amish. Yeah, believe it or not a lot of them return.
Yeah, there's a word that they're allowed to do. They're allowed to go out and sow their oats in a way, and then they come back.
Say sow?
Sow their oats?
Yeah.
Soil.
No, it's not soil.
It's sow their oats. Spread their oats.
Yeah. It's
sow like with a needle?
Yeah, but it's called sow your oats.
I don't think so. Is it?
Pretty sure.
Sow your oats?
I believe the phrase they use technically is raise hell. I think that's what they're allowed to do.
Huh.
Let me see what that one was. Raise.
Sow like S-E-W? Why are you sewing them together?
S-O-W.
S-O-W.
Oh, what does that mean?
Just what I said. Sow your oats.
I didn't know there was an S-O-W.
The Webster's Dictionary definition of sow one's oats is, quote, to have many sexual relationships, particularly while one is young, which would be what the Amish do when they leave the farm.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Rumpspringer.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they call it, Rumpspringer.
All caps on the text line, 989 nailed it.
Hey, Rumpspringer.
Rumpspringer, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Rumpspringer.
Okay, well, now that we've had our fun, Brian, what's happening with these monkeys?
Oh,
my God,
so
I thought we were
anyway.
talking about bringing Amish.
Yeah, the monkeys are back in the facility, and again, quote, healthy and doing well. Now, there were reports they were moving north, and I thought they'd crossed the Illinois border back a month ago, and then it kind of just disappeared, that information. So I guess in a post-truth society that we live in, do you buy that there's still not a monkey out there? I think there's still at least one that's out there that they can't catch, and it's almost like Rambo, where they're trying to find him. There's one monkey, and he's too smart. He was trained too well, and he's now going to wreak havoc on Alpha Genesis by...
I hope he frees the rest of the monkeys. I hope he comes back.
Like Planet of the Apes. I kind of see that happening here. I don't know. I think they're lying. I don't think all the monkeys are safe. I want to see all 43 monkeys. I want to talk to them.
What do you want to say to them?
I want to debrief the monkeys. That's what I want to do.
What's your first question? You said, okay, so let's say, last week we had Tim and Joe from Rise Against in the studio for an hour. We got to ask them anything we wanted to do. I'm going to try to book these monkeys on the show.
Hey, you booked the monkeys. I mean, my first question to answer yours is just give me your full birth name.
You can't do that. It's not going to be an honest interview. It's going to be like when they interviewed R. Kelly's girlfriends, and then once they felt free, they came out and were like, we lied that whole interview. We did not feel safe. We were like, don't you remember?
You're way more up on R. Kelly than I am.
I'm so up on R. Kelly.
Well, I remember that.
What do you wanna know?
I remember that, but don't you think the monkeys would trust me in the interview process?
No, but they have to live with Alpha Genesis. Like, you have to live with their abuser and captor. They're going to be like, no, they're great.
It was great to get captured and put back in.
No, I'm so happy to be here.
You know the open world. Yeah, overrated.
Yeah, they're like blinking a lot during the interview. Okay.
I can only imagine, like you said, Kenzie, the monkey going back to the, what's it like out there? Do you know that there's trees we can climb on, and there's food on some of them just sitting there free.
I completely imagine them smoking a cigarette and like touching their forehead while talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have I can't believe I'm back here, man.
It's like a kid when they go to like Europe for a summer, then come back with the accent.
Oh.
It's like, I know you. You're from Gurney. Why are you talking like a Frenchman?
Ugh, Duncan. Okay, relax.
I gotta believe there's still a vengeful rogue monkey out there that hasn't, and he's gonna, and I hope he does go back and cause havoc on Alpha Genesis. I hope he does. I can't wait to see that day.
Well, this is when we talked about it in real time, and it's important to know we gave daily monkey updates every day for almost a week and a half because we felt like this story was being what else is new, undercovered by the mainstream media.
Sure.
And so my big thing was like, I'm terrified of this. Everybody's laughing about these monkeys. This will have long-term ramifications that we can't even imagine. When I saw the headline last night that all of these monkeys had been captured, I took a sigh of relief breath. I finally felt safe. I had been living in a bunker for the last month and a half. And then Brian came in and was like, well, they're obviously lying. They're still rogue monkeys. And now I'm back to not feeling safe again.
I don't know how to make you feel safe again unless maybe your doctor prescribes you to have a spider monkey as a pet to calm you down. What do they call them?
What is that called?
A support monkey.
Yeah, emotional support spider monkey?
Yeah, you need an emotional support spider monkey would make you feel better.
I'll bring that to
Tell you what,
Twisted
if
Christmas.
I was a monkey, you'd be the first person I attack, Case, because you spoke against their freedom. So, and they're good at climbing stuff. So it doesn't help that you're in an apartment high up and won't do anything for you.
It's not that I'm against their freedom.
Yes, you are.
It's that I find their freedom to be quite dangerous. And if it's unregulated, then I don't know. It feels like this is going to come back to bite us at some point.
I want you to know, in like 50 years, when the monkeys live amongst us, you're going to get canceled for that audio clip. It's not going to age well.
This is like when Shane Gillis got fired from SNL. They found my podcast clip. This is not good.
It's not going to be good.
Two monkeys in tuxedos will come and just remove you. Like, come with us, sir. Come with us.
That's the last time I see my family.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Not
I mean,
good.
listen, the monkeys have clearly been messed with, and that's what scares Case. He's that they're messed up monkeys.
Yeah, anything could have happened. I mean, they're.
You love messed up. You only date women who are messed up.
Wow.
Why can't the monkeys be here? It's like your thing.
Oh, I don't know where to go with that.
Except Mackenzie.
Oh, yeah.
Except her.
Nah, she's pretty messed up, too.
Oh, jeez.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. You know, it's funny, WGN TV just showed the story we were talking about with the 43 escaped monkeys all being now retained and back in captivity. And we don't buy it, at least I don't buy it, that all the monkeys were escaped. I think some are still out there lurking. But they just showed the facility, the Alpha Genesis facility where the monkeys go back. The walls are like 90 feet high with barbed wire and electrical stuff on it. Pretty serious to keep those monkeys in. They all got out.
Like, why? The monkeys aren't that big for reference. Like, if you're thinking of like this massive, like orangutans are huge. They almost look like the size of gorillas. That's not what these monkeys are.
Yeah, they're rare.
They're like your standard Curious George.
Yeah, exactly.
Standard monkey size.
Yeah, a little standard monkey size.
We're doomed. These walls have re-freaked me out. This is
Why?
trouble. Kenzie, these monkeys were on the loose for a month and a half.
You know what pisses me off?
Okay.
You're locking them in a home when you learn from childhood that they are curious, and that's not fair.
They're very curious monkeys. They should have been kept in captivity.
Well, somehow they got out of that facility, which is also quite impressive.
Yeah, not good.
That they all, I don't know.
Well, they have thumbs.
What's the phrase they use in Meet the Parents? The cat doesn't have not disposable.
It doesn't have thumbs, fucker.
Yeah. Well, here's how you can relieve yourself of the monkeys and just have some fun and escape for a while. Come to Lizzie McNeil's for St. Patty's Day. And actually, it'll be the Friday before. So Friday the 14th at Lizzie McNeil's. It's Brian and Kenzie's St. Patty's Day broadcast. 5 years going. It is the spot in Chicago to start off that St. Patty's Day weekend, with the next day being, of course, the river dying. And Lizzie McNeil's is the perfect spot to watch it right there on the river in Streeterville, right in downtown. So just so you know, to get it off work right now, it is the Friday the 14th, not actually the 17th. So come out and join us for the party. We'll have a lot of surprises, probably a band I'll interview, and I won't remember at that point talking to them ever, but we'll get it there.
Case, you said you were going to get that interview.
I'm working on finding Brian's interview. We talked about this on Friday last week.
Gotta hear it.
Kenzie was out of the St. Patrick's Day broadcast last year. She had just had a kid, so valid excuse.
Yeah, couldn't walk great yet.
So we brought over the Vaccines. Great band. They played live at Lizzie McNeil's, and Brian did, and he knew it as it was happening, the worst interview of his career last year, St. Patrick's Day, Lizzie McNeil's, which again is a free broadcast. It's Friday, March 14th this year. The three of us will be down there from 6 to 10 and then hanging out afterwards. But Brian interviewed the vaccines and really never landed the plane on a single question.
Yeah, it's too bad because if I don't say so myself, I'm a pretty good interviewer.
I think you're the best of the biz.
Thank you. But not that day.
That was not good.
Not that day.
I want to hear it.
I'm going to look for it.
They came near the end of the broadcast. Big mistake. Should have hit me up at 6. Do not come at the end of a St. Patty's Day broadcast in Chicago. They were so nice. I know they played over the weekend, right?
Yeah, they were at the Vic over the weekend. I heard it was outstanding.
Yeah.
They're a great band. They're super nice.
Yep.
They did not know exactly what they were getting into.
Yeah.
And Brian did not exactly pass them the baton to let them run.
No, it's one of those, we do this obviously for years. You interview a band, and they were kind of giving me the nod to like almost help me out, like, go ahead with the question. And I'm like, I can't really talk right now.
That is the name of our song. What would you like to know about it?
Yeah.
Does it sound good?
So when you guys were writing Stairway to Heaven, like.
different band.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Let me put this beer down for a second. Holy cow. Priceless.
Well, Brian thought they were just going to give out vaccines live, so he was just really shocked when a band showed up.
It's kind of funny, Kenzie, because that was part of it, talking about during the pandemic how their name was problematic for them as a band.
I could see that. But in general, you did pick a medical thing.
Yeah, but they've been around for 15 years. So it's the thing that came up during the pandemic.
They were stunned.
And I kept bringing it up in the interview.
That's it was a little like in Knocked Up when Seth Rogen's dancing. He keeps on going back to rolling the dice on the dance floor. You kind of just kept on going back to, so that name, not good.
That's all he got. That's all he's got right now. Is the name conversation.
He keeps on going back to it.
Also, it's a negative. It's not like you're complimenting them. You're like, God, crappy name,
Yeah.
huh? It's a fun interview.
I'm aware it was negative. I'm aware. Anyway, we'll see what happens this year. Whoever decides to come out.
I don't think we're going to be able to book a big guest based on your behavior.
We'll get out there earlier. We'll get the bands out there earlier when things are a little bit more refined, which is at 6:05. After that, it's all a mess. Lizzie McNeil's, our St. Patty's Day broadcast. All the information at Q101.com right now, and get off work and join us.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for some music and entertainment news. Let's start with TikTok. Breaking news as, TikTok was supposed to go away. Then there was a stay of execution for 75 days while they work it out. And then it could go away again. So right now it's the process of trying to find someone that could be a 50% owner because the Chinese government is totally involved with all the information that you put on TikTok and your private information. They can actually geotag you and follow you around. They can do anything they want. So the answer, just proposed coming up overnight here that broke this morning, is that TikTok can continue to operate if it is owned 50% by the U.S. government. Does that make you feel safe?
That's so annoying.
No, that does not make me feel safe.
This is just like, well, we also want that info. Let's just share it.
This seems like the most unreasonable answer possibly to, it could have been anybody else. I don't know. Think of a horrible company. It could have been anybody else, but then the U.S. government will, why don't we get in that business?
The CIA is like, what an amazing opportunity this would be.
Yeah. So
why didn't we think of this with our apps?
If the U.S. government decides to buy into the other half of TikTok, 51%, let's say, that's what's got to be owned American company, 51%.
And maybe within the agreement it states this. So before anybody lights me up. But I thought the problem is they wanted too much information. Why aren't they just like, hey, in America, you can't have access to this is the max level on the privacy setting. Instead, they're just like, well, let us have it, too. I love that. I now don't feel very protected.
It goes totally my proof that adults have become children. They've morphed into it in the last couple decades. And so the government, I look at a child, I want that. We could have thought of that, too. Started a thing where people dance, I'll get all their information. It'd be great. It'd be wonderful.
It's like every time you shake your ass, they have your social security number. It's unbelievable.
Bing.
If I had a nickel.
Yeah. Now, the prevailing thought is that they're all the same, like Facebook, Instagram, that they all get the same access to your privacy. But TikTok, when you really go to a deep dive in it, it is unbelievable how much it is. Now, I don't know if somebody making $100,000 a year on TikTok cares. It's an income. I'll take the chance that China has my information, knows where I'm at, knows when I'm going to 7-Eleven. Fine.
Listen, I haven't been able to do a lot with my information. Take a swing at it. If you can, think you can do something with my information.
You want my debt? Take it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Woo, party.
So that's one solution to getting it back, unless some other American group of companies. I saw like Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank was putting together some people, possibly Shaq. Coming in there together, the richest people you can think of getting together, throwing money and buy the other half of TikTok. So,
but didn't Mr. Wonderful, he offered to pay for it in cash, and the deal still didn't go through. This is going to wind up in the hands of our government, because why would it not?
Well, I think the number is, I don't know how rich Mr. Wonderful is. I know he's a billionaire, but he has $1 billion. I think you got to have like 50 billion. You got to be like a Zuckerberg or an Elon Musk.
A billionaire doesn't mean you only have one. I mean, does he have? He could be a billionaire with like 6.
Well, I looked up how he got his money, and it gave me like a net worth of him. It's about $1 billion.
So he's $1 billion.
He's a $1 bill.
Broke ass. How embarrassing! You only have $1 billion.
God, loser.
Loser.
So I don't know, but you think that's dead in the water? You saw Case that deal or no?
I don't understand what the holdup is, and maybe that's a legitimate question. I don't understand why, if there are as many bidders as there are, why there doesn't seem to be more action on this. Again, I think the CIA is like, oh, this couldn't have worked out better for us.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to reiterate what I thought. Why weren't they like, hey, everyone can keep TikTok, but once again in America, you're going to change the privacy settings a little bit. Go ahead and own it, though.
How dare you suggest that?
To the table.
Come on, Kenzie, be real.
Do they really care that we're at Target again that much? You think they'd be like, sure?
I think the prevailing thought is, do you really believe that you toggling that thing stops the privacy from your privacy from being...
I'm so glad you said that, Brian. I mean, I've said this before. It sucks that in order to participate in the modern world, our privacy has to always be at risk, but that's just what it is now.
You want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
Well, okay. Well, settle down. Now I feel like it's something to do.
I am buckled in.
So I went to this light show, like Christmas tree farm light show thing in Minnesota when I was visiting my parents like 3 years ago.
That is crazy.
And wait, can I get to the point?
That you visited her parents?
Rude. God, you can't just say the punchline. God. So mean. Anyways,
go ahead, Kenzie.
It makes me want to. He brings a note in about his mental health, and then he talks to us like that. It's
Kenzie,
punch him.
just ignore it. Focus on what you were going to say.
Turn his microphone up. Anyways, I'm like scrolling on Facebook this year in November, and a picture of me and my husband is their advertisement. Like they're using it as their ad, and I reached out to them like, hey, like that's like me. And they're like, yeah, but if we have a thing when you log into our Wi-Fi that says we're allowed to use your pictures no matter what. I'm like, so because I connected to their Wi-Fi was there, I didn't get paid, and I was the face of their entire advertising program, like everywhere in Minnesota, and I got no money for it.
Huh.
And they're like, yeah, but you connected to our Wi-Fi. I'm like, well, that doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, you didn't read the terms.
Of the Wi-Fi? I mean,
yeah, when you connect to our Wi-Fi, we can take your car. That's part of the terms and conditions.
I mean, at what point are you just not allowed to write something in terms and conditions? Like, are they allowed to be like, well, if you come here and you log into the Wi-Fi, we're allowed to enslave you? It's like, what? Like, I don't understand.
Huh.
So,
that might be in some terms and conditions. Read them.
If you're like interested, if you see your face on a billboard and you're like, that's illegal, maybe you connected to Wi-Fi once. Isn't that insane?
People say don't do that. Like, don't connect to. But
don't
then again,
connect to Wi-Fi.
But you need it.
I need the Wi-Fi. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, you need that Wi-Fi, man.
Okay.
It's like crack.
What?
You need the Wi-Fi. More music entertainment news. Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese are reviving one of the most highly anticipated projects after a decade in development hell. And I remember hearing about this, The Devil in the White City. So the great story about Chicago and the World's Fair in 1893 and the serial killer that Kenzie talked about in one of her first Kenzie's Crimes we ever did here like a year and a half ago.
Yep. H.H. Holmes, some people call it the murder house. He had the home, and after he passed away, they saw it, and there was like trapdoors, a torture basement in the dungeon. Today, that house no longer stands, but there's actually a USPS, like the mail service building, and a lot of people say that creepy things happen in that building. That was what was built on the site of it.
And if I remember, there's a number that he had, but they think the number is like 15, 20 times more than the number of people that were killed.
They believe it was hundreds of people. That was his thing. He moved here and obviously didn't know anybody. He liked to work at like the World Fair. He met tons of people. And obviously this is at a time where, you couldn't log into Wi-Fi and somebody could see where you were. So people would travel to like the World Fair and then just not go home. And people wouldn't know if they made it, if they came back. Like, you didn't have that ability. So he was like kidnapping and murdering many people, killing people who worked for him even. It's one of the most insane stories. He killed hundreds of people and genuinely for pleasure, made his house just this torture system. And that's going to be a very interesting movie.
Well, I remember.
Very interesting. Or series. Is it a series or a movie?
Well, so it was going to be a Hulu series that had Keanu Reeves in it.
Spooky.
That would have been epic. But now, that still doesn't say Keanu is out of the project. It just says it's back with Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese. Obviously, they did The Departed. They did so many movies together that I can't wait to see what this will be. It's just been revived. It's back out of hell after, 10 years of sitting there in development hell. So I'm excited about that.
I am really excited to see it, excited to see how they portray it. And it's such a crazy story that you can hear it and not exactly absorb how crazy it is. I think it's something that a lot of people are you need to see it to be like, holy crap. You talk about like, a crazy murder house, but I saw the diagrams of this house. Like, you don't understand the lengths he went to build this tortured palace for himself. So insane.
Finally, in music entertainment news, you can now get a college degree in heavy metal. So if you're ready to rock, here you go. You got to go to the Netherlands.
You're ready to rock?
You got to go to the
150,000.
You got to go to the Netherlands to do it, sadly.
Wow.
Well, they probably have free college there. They're like statistically a super happy nation. Probably don't have that lingering student debt.
Oh, that kind of stings, doesn't it?
Not if you go there.
Well, Case is thinking about his Columbia College debt that's still hanging out there.
Oh, boy, do I have some of it.
The program is called the Metal Factory, offering students a music degree focusing specifically on heavy metal and teaching you, quote, how to growl, the master of the art of growling.
I just imagine a lot of times when you're in college, you have to do an internship program. What are they reaching out to bands? Like, hey, listen, Metallica, can they follow you around for a while? How are you supposed to apply for this?
It'd be incredible. The funny thing is, to get in the program, you have to audition for 30 minutes.
That's a long set.
Yeah, it is. Well, I can't imagine
you haven't
growling.
gotten your degree yet. How are you supposed to perform for 30 minutes? That's what they're supposed to teach you.
They have to see if your skill set is even worth, fostering, worth feeding gas to get it better. Like 30 minutes of screaming.
If you can put a kick-ass setup for 30 minutes, you don't need the degree. You're already there.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Try going for 30 minutes.
Well, then you don't need the degree. Look how talented you'd be. That's stupid. That'd be like, in order to get into medical school, you must perform this surgery. Well, I don't think I nailed it. I don't need to go.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and time for your takeaways. But Dougie Styles in for Lauren again, hanging out. What's up, sir? Are you in because Lauren is trying to stay in Florida long enough to have one sunny day before she comes back?
I don't know. I just looked it up right now on the weather app. I'm not really sure where she's at, but in Daytona today, it's 71 and sunny. So I hope she's somewhere around there as she ventures back to Chicago. But Lauren, if you're listening, take your time. Enjoy it out there. I like being on the air hanging out with you guys.
Dougie's settling in here in the midday slot. Got a sleeping bag here.
Yeah. Good here, man. I got her parking pass, too. So take your time, Lauren O'Neill. Relax over there in Florida.
Fridge is full of his snacks. Got Gatorade in there.
He's loaded up.
Yeah,
I brought oatmeal, by the way. Does anybody?
You have a lot of stuff to pack up tomorrow. That's not a good idea. Good Lord.
I'm just going to put it by your section over there, Kenzie. I'll just store some of my oatmeal and snacks over there.
They'll put one of those pods outside of the studio. So he's got to load all his stuff out.
Storage unit.
All right, Case, takeaways. What do you got?
An optimistic takeaway from Joe in Downers Grove. We are finally free from the wrath of the monkeys.
No, I don't believe it.
I know. I don't either.
I'm not buying it. Kenzie, what do you got?
Tanya's takeaway. Thankfully, Brian and Case have full-time employment. Otherwise, they'd spend their days masturbating and killing ants.
Nice.
That's good.
My man.
Doug, you ever burn ants with a magnifying glass when you were a kid?
I haven't, but I have masturbated.
Oh, well, that's good.
He's like quite recently.
This morning?
Feeling good.
High five, Case. High five, buddy.
Thank you.
Finally, Maddie from Lombard checked in, takeaway, all caps. Obviously, Case's doctor's note was real. It was signed, the doctor who knows health. And it was printed on doctor paper.
That's right. You can't just get doctor paper anywhere.
Nope.
Good
nope.
point. Good
Can't
point.
do it. Case, what's on the podcast?
Well, our weight loss challenge took a bizarre turn today. If you missed it, you're going to want to check that out. Also, we called out the ant killers and masturbators, and Brian is refusing to invite me over to his house for one reason and one reason only. We talked about that and more on the Brian and Kenzie podcast.
Get them wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, Apple, Spotify, and the Q101 app. Download it. It's free.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.